So you guys aren't aware, Keith Lee is a food blogger. Basically, he's got a very popular TikTok account where he does reviews of restaurants, most of them black-owned, but he does some other ones. And essentially goes in there and he tries to review the food, and it's very popular because people really trust his advice. He does so in a kind of deadpan, very neutral kind of way. And, he always does it with a mostly positive spin. So, a lot of people like his stuff. Anyways, he was in Atlanta recently, and he had some bad things to say about some of the Atlanta restaurants because the service was really poor, which a lot of other Atlanta residents also echo. But people had issues with the fact that he gave bad reviews, saying it was ruining businesses, et cetera, et cetera. Mind you, he does all of his reviews pretty anonymously. He'll send his family to go into the restaurant to grab the food, and in the parking lot, he tries it so that none of them know he's a food reviewer. So that's how he gets honest interactions. He doesn't want special treatment. He doesn't walk in and be all bougie.
That's how you're supposed to interact.
Which I respect. I respect
that.
the methodology, okay? So, Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson, which are two NFL Hall of Famers in my opinion. Definitely Shannon Sharpe, Chad Johnson. I mean, we can Chad Johnson. Yeah, I mean, Ocho Cinco, I think should be in there. They have a podcast, and they were discussing it, and it got pretty heated. So let's hear what they got to say.
Ooh, it got heated.
And the big question is, should these people be leaving bad reviews, which can negatively impact the restaurants? One, and two, it's especially bad because you're doing it to your other black people. Okay, those are two things to keep in mind. Let's watch.
I don't know how often you've been to Atlanta. But the Atlanta food scene, we unique because a lot of times it's all about dressing up, and it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hour wait time. A lot of times, Ocho, you got to eat a meal before you actually go to the restaurant because you're gonna be hungry damn again before you actually get in the restaurant. So It's perfect. And look, I don't want people to think what's going on is unique to Atlanta and black restaurants. Normally, Ocho, you know this from being a professional athlete. We get privileges sometimes at the restaurant, and sometimes we get to get things that normal people don't get. It happens.
I don't like it.
Ocho, so you've never gotten the table because you're Ocho Cinco.
I'm not talking about that. Yeah. And when they do, I mean, you know me, you know how I move, and everybody in this chat knows how I move when I go to restaurants. If you see me first, you understand what's coming at the end when it's time to tip. I've been doing that 20-some years.
Okay, but
I don't like the fact of what he's doing.
Ocho,
I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses. And
how are we gonna know? How are you supposed to do? You're doing good or doing bad if that's not critiquing. Critique gives you an average of which it gives you feedback. That's how I get better. Mm-hmm. Feedback. When I go in my office and I construct a joke, and I take that joke and I go do it, what makes me do that joke again is the feedback that people give you. The laughs is the feedback. We need feedback. That's how it's supposed to go. So because he has a platform, he's not supposed to give feedback no more? Because he can influence? The whole purpose of having comments and rating system online is that. Whether you're big or not, it affects your rating, and people are gonna judge on that.
Ocho, like, you know how hard it is,
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant. And so,
Ocho,
like, what are we doing?
Don't ask me to come to your house and then ask me what I think about it without asking me to give you my honest opinion.
Nobody asked for that.
Ocho,
Nobody asked for that.
A lot of these people, listen. A lot of these restaurants do DM him, ask him to come. But he wants to go on. A lot of times he wants to go unannounced and give people. That's what he is. He's a food critic. He's turned himself into a food critic. It's okay.
Are we turning something? Resume? What are the qualifications of being a food critic?
Having taste buds, cherry on, and common sense. Stop, Ocho. Stop. You don't like the fact that it's degrading black people because it's hard for us to get in that business. And I understand and I concur. It's hard for us to get in that business. And once we get there, we got to strive and we got to do our thing. Hence the reason why we shouldn't shit on customer and give back customer service. To me, that's doing that to ourselves. We are the main people that do that to ourselves when we give bad service, when we talk to people like we don't need them, that we don't care, and like they're beneath us when they are in our...
To be fair, the worst service I ever got was at Chinese restaurants. Not even close. Me personally. But I digress.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh.
I agree.
Just saying.
I agree.
Are Chinese people catching strays right now? Yeah. But I got to do it.
You're right.
Yeah. I just think you mostly,
but those restaurants that get there, if they get a bad review, they get a bad review. The thing is, with Chinese people, they have so much of the people, like their people supporting them, that they don't care.
Go to a restaurant and do you like the food? Did you like the customer service? What was it like? Yes. What was the wait time like? That's all you got to do.
How about go do that at Maestro's? Go do that shit at Chris Roof. Go do it at Poppy Steak. Go do it at fucking Zuma.
So again, he doesn't have an issue with what he's doing per se.
No.
He has an issue with he's doing it with black people, which is interesting. But let's keep listening.
Go do it at their restaurants and give them the bad press and all the bad.
Ocho,
Do it there.
Ocho. Because you're black doesn't mean you're above criticism.
I'm not saying you're above anything, but go do it there. It's hard enough for us as it is. Now here you go.
So in other words, so if he got bad service, he's supposed to just let that slide.
Service wasn't bad. Service wasn't bad.
Oh,
Service because it wasn't. It wasn't. I ain't never had bad service. And
Ocho.
even if the service was bad, they might be having a bad day because some of the goddamn idiots they don't have to deal with.
Ocho,
all
you
goddamn
can't-
day.
Ocho, honestly, in the customer service business, you can't have a bad day. Because think about what you just said. Customer service.
Do you know what it's like dealing with some of these people?
You shouldn't get in that
Every
business.
day.
Do not get into the customer service business if you can be easily perturbed by having a bad day.
But sometimes you need a job. And sometimes that job being customer service and being in the food industry is all you can do. At that
Ocho.
time.
Okay, so his arguments is all over the place. He's
No,
making
it's-
all kinds of excuses for the
it's
fact
not
that
going
they're
anywhere.
treating the customers poorly. But it's not a way you do things. I'll say this. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like the whole idea of like if it's a black person, you got to watch what you say or anything like that. Because then what's the value of your review if you're just going to always be positive? Then I'm like, well, I know I've been to bad restaurants. How come you haven't? So why would I trust this reviewer who always only has positive things to say? Because then I don't trust him because if he leads me to a restaurant with a bad review or with a good review that's not real, and I have a bad experience, I'm like, oh, this guy's a fraud. He probably bought and paid for it. So your honesty in this whole matter really matters, okay? You have to make sure that you have some level of integrity.
You have to be impartial, and if you do that, you're actually the opposite of that.
Exactly. So there's a certain level of that you have to expect. If you don't have it, you're just going to ruin it for everyone. I also say this. This whole mentality is oftentimes like what leads people to ask for handouts, what leads people to ask for favors that are probably not deserved. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, sometimes you just feel like your own people don't value what you do.
They don't.
They just expect it because you share the same skin. It's like, no. The same way I don't want to be treated like crazy or like some royalty when I go to your restaurant or anything like that. I just want to be treated properly. I don't want you to start asking me to do things for free because of that. And essentially, what Ocho Cinco is asking is that these people do free press for these people without them actually deserving it. It hurts our economy. It hurts the reputation of the people who do the reviewing, and it's just bad for everyone involved. So I just don't like that kind of mindset, and I also just don't think it's good for the business and the overall progress of the group.
When you were playing in the NFL, people were not lighter on you on your case because you're black. Oh, it's so hard to be black in it. No, you're good or you're bad.
True.
You get a good review. You get a good. If you caught that pass, you caught that pass. I'm not gonna shit on the white players because they're white and I'm a black coach, so I can't shit on my. No, I'm impartial, and we're here for the team. You winning or you losing. Now you decided that business, you get to work, and that's that.
What he said. Let us know what you're asking in the comments.